The idea of testing out my ability was a bit tempting. Sneaky right onto Pig. There's a lot we'll have to experiment with here. But first of all, again, yes, I want to use the ability. Not because I think it's a good option. No, I think it's by far the worst option. But because I want to see what happens. Definitely, if I was in this situation and I had to choose, and I don't have a let's replay, let's rewind to the last save state, obviously run as usual. That's pretty clear. But we want to unlock the endings. Sneaky right onto Pig. I pressed the action button. I'm not entirely sure why I just did it. I mean, why not? I should list you a lot of reasons. What's the harm in it? It should move me exactly one space, just as we all agreed. And if I didn't, Pig might feel offended. So this was right? It couldn't possibly hurt at any rate. What do you mean it couldn't possibly hurt? Well, you'll find out soon enough. Well, time to meet up again, like promised. I would have preferred to walk with Pig, but she seemed to have gone ahead without me. No problem, I'd just go to... Oh, this is so obvious. I'd just go down by myself. Yep, Monkey's totally not dead at all, and we're totally not getting blamed for it. I took a staircase down to the first floor. Right as I walked into the cafeteria from the back hallway, I noticed the screen on the TV had changed, and people were freaking out. Out? Why would they be? As soon as my eyes focused on the screen, I realized why. Pig. She was in the lead by like a lot. What? What? Why would you want to do that? Are you... What? I don't get it. She must have used her ability. No, it wasn't just Pig that was in the lead. So was I. I was also in the lead. Bunny, who had stopped freaking out for long enough to notice my presence, turned around to talk to me. But why? Why am I in the lead? Assuming everyone always just runs, the point is that you move forward the spaces of people that are ahead of you. So, and it only works for Pig because she's in last place, in the last in the turn order. We're in first. Why would we be in the lead? It makes no sense to me. And I hope the game explains this and it's not just faulty reasoning in the game. Bunny, who had stopped freaking out for long enough to notice my presence, turned around to talk to me. Hey, Mark, what the hell is this about? That was not his voice. Are you in on this? What? No, I knew nothing. Then why'd you hitch a ride on her? I don't see Pig's plan in this. I literally do not see her reasoning for this. Maybe I gave her too much credit earlier when I said I gave her too little credit. What's the point? Because she said to. She told you she would be doing this? No, she just said to hitch a ride on her. Others were noticing me and they were making their way over. They were mad. I could very much see where this was going. And needless to say, I didn't love it. So what did I do? I was a rat. I scurried away. I fled as fast as my feet could take me, just trying to put distance between myself and the cafeteria. Why? You're admitting fault here, Mouse, by running away. Although I am a firm defender of the fact that just because you're running away doesn't mean you're at fault. But still, other people don't think that way, but that's not a good idea. Okay, hold up. I get it. I know this just makes me look worse, yes. I know this hurts me a lot, yes. I know this, honestly speaking, was sort of a dick move on my part, yes. But trust me, I say exactly what would have happened had I stayed in that crowd. It would not have been good for me. There's no way I could convince them I wasn't in cahoots with Pig. It's actually pretty easy. There's one traitor left. Why would you be in cahoots with Pig? There's no reason to do that. End of argument. There's absolutely no reason why two people would work together if only one of them is a traitor. It makes no sense. And we do have very intelligent people in that group. Snake would figure that out. Dog would figure that out. Bunny would... Actually. But, you know... traitor's ally is a traitor. Yep, the point is, why would you be a traitor's ally? Unless you have been deceived. I mean, you're still being stupid in that case, but you're not entirely at fault. No, fleeing was the best option. I kept running and running. How is fleeing the best option? You're gonna die. Pretty soon I couldn't tell if anyone was pursuing me, but I really didn't care. Until I finally felt like I'd put enough distance between me and them, I would run. I ended up stopping in what looked to be a screening room on the first floor. I'd gone up and down some stairs. This was as good as any place to hide. Oops. I made my way behind the bleachers oddly placed in the room and crouched down. Far from a heroic action, but it was really the only thing I could think of. From there, I'd just hid. The others would deal with it, right? The others would get Pig. They'd almost certainly find her and deal with her. And then? Kill her, if I was going to be honest with myself. It was pretty sad, but it appeared she was, in fact, the other traitor. Monkey had confessed, Pig hadn't. So now I'd let the group deal with the situation and rejoin in a bit when everything had lightly cooled down. Yeah, then everything's just going to be fine. Yeah, no, absolutely not. I mean, it's not like I'd be useful to the group, so what's the harm? The only question that remained was what to do with the tablet. Just choosing to run ran the risk of getting closer to the line and pissing off the group further. So what to do? I had it, I'd simply continue to hitch a ride on Pig. Pig probably wouldn't be going anywhere, so this was ideal. I spent the next few rounds just hiding, hoping no one would find me, and choosing to hitch a ride on Pig with my tablet. After 2 rounds, I planned on leaving my hiding spot and testing the water, sort of feeling out how everybody was doing. However, to my shock and horror, after only 2 rounds of this, I felt my collar come undone. Does that mean it's all over? As if to answer my question, I heard a booming noise come on the speakers. Not a noise, a voice. The finish line has been crossed. The winners are Rat, Ox, and Pig. Congratulations. Anyone who has not won has lost. Prepare for execution. What? What just happened? Yeah, that's a good point. What just happened? Did I just survive? How? No, that wasn't a question to ask. Did everybody else die? That's fine. Who cares about that? How? The desperate personality. Wait, was Desperate the one who needs to finish first? Yeah, probably. Desperate needs to finish first. Content needed to finish last. But surely there was some rule against this. I just remember that. Yeah, absolutely. There was a rule that specifically pointed out that you need to be the only one to cross the finish line. Well, that being said, we don't know that Pig didn't die. Pig probably died. Ox and me get to survive. That makes sense. My bad, I forgot about that. What on earth? How did they not catch Pig? How did they not stop her? Dragon's ability, Monkey's ability, they should have been able to do something. And yet, a small voice in the back of my head called out. But hey, you survived. You didn't even have to get your hands dirty. No, that's absolutely the wrong thing to take away from all of this. That can't be the moral. It just can't be. Reluctantly, I got up and made my way to the cafeteria. I don't know what I expected, but I certainly wasn't ready for what I saw. A sea of dead bodies, all in pain, all with blood flowing from their throats. I had to just close my eyes and walk through. I couldn't bear to look at it anymore. Just a glancing sight had scarred me in a way I would never truly recover from. Eventually, I had gotten to the front entrance of the school. There stood Ox. He looked none too pleased. Ox. Mouse. You saw the outcome, I presume. Ox, I swear I never... Save it, Mouse. You don't need to apologize. Uh-huh. I know what you're going to say. You knew nothing of what Pig planned to do, and afterwards you were just scared. You hid and panicked, never expecting to actually get out like that. Well, that's not exactly it, but that's exactly it, Mouse. Yeah, more or less. Figures. That's about as much as I should have expected from you, if I'm honest. The failure to stop this is on my shoulders and mine alone. If things went so bad, how are you still alive, Ox? It became pretty clear soon enough that we weren't going to be able to stop Pig from victory. However, thanks to my stampede, I got within spitting distance of the finish line the round before last. It was either you two survive or us three survive. That group is by and large scum, but even they wouldn't drag someone else down with them when they're beat. Oh. And you're standing here because... This is the exit to the school. Pig eventually has to pass by here. And when she does, I want to confront her. What she just did, whether she was forced to or not, was mass murder. 9 people are dead because of her. She needs to face those consequences. What does that mean? Oh, don't give me that look. I'm not going to kill her or anything. I just want to make her look me in the eyes and justify herself. And I don't want her running away. I don't know how the police are going to treat this. These circumstances seem tricky to prosecute, but still, she at least needs her day in court. However, I must say it has taken her quite some time, because she's dead because she's the traitor. Come on, Ox. You can figure this out. What's holding her up this long? Ox, you know there's also a side exit to the building, right? Oh, or that. Shit. King of Clubs. Choosing not to play is a valid option for Mouse. In some ways, it is a good option when faced with potential death as an alternative. However, refusing to play refuses you the option to control the outcome. And who in their right mind would give up control? So why did pigs... I mean, technically we don't know, but why did pigs survive? That doesn't make much sense to me. Technically, the only way that... Or the rules change from run to run in their very specifics. Which I think I read through them the first 2 times and they seemed identical to me, but... I can't say for sure, to be honest, yeah. But... I have to imagine that was the case, or otherwise the only other option is that she wasn't a traitor either. She was just an innocent trying to save herself, which is entirely possible. But then who would have been the other traitor? Alright, let's continue from... Is it here? Yeah, this is about who to support. Actually, let's go further back. Let's go to the furthest back, and then we'll work our way back forward. Forward. Obviously not. No. What was I thinking about? I randomly decided to use my ability to signal to the group that I didn't trust them. Just testing it out? What was I thinking? What was Pig thinking? Without another thought, I chose to run. Well, time to meet up again, like promised. I would have preferred to walk with Pig, but she seemed to have gone ahead without me. No problem, I'd just go down by myself. I took a staircase down to the first floor. Oh, Mouse, there you are. Where's Pig? She didn't come ahead by herself already? No. That's odd. Who cares? The results are about to be announced. We all turned our attentions to the TV where the race results would be shown. There shouldn't be anything out of the ordinary here, though. Round 8 has ended. Now let us see how the race has progressed. Yeah, we'll go through that and we'll see Pig jumping ahead. I'm still confused why there wasn't an option to stop Pig. Pig has used Loser's Desperation. The Pig moves 11 spaces. Now round 7 has begun. Do your best and choose wisely. What? What the hell? What was Pig doing? The answer was obvious upon second thought. He was trying to win the race. That meant that the person with the desperate personality was the very person I had just spent that much time with. I kicked myself for not noticing it earlier. Pig had been acting strange. I just didn't think... Well, that's it. I just didn't think. This is... Pig betrayed us. It appears our other traitor has shown themselves. I think this is bad, isn't it? He's way ahead of all of us. Indeed, for the person with the desperate personality to have such a powerful ability and for Pig to use it so effectively. This is perhaps the rare case where a single agent can effectively gain such an incredible lead. So lovely. Everyone settle down. Fox regained the group's attention. This is not a cause for alarm. Rather, this could be viewed as a good thing. After all, we now know who the enemy is. Admittedly, Pig has gained a rather impressive lead on us. However, that is a move she can only utilize once. At this point, her movement options have been severely limited. We should just focus on capturing her. Say, Snake, you said your ability would be good to help prevent if somebody went off on their own. Do you think you can turn things around? Alas, I fear things may not be that simple, Mouse. The scenario I pictured was if several people acted out. With a single frontrunner gaining such a lead, I am regrettably limited in my usefulness. Hey, this is why my dragon breath should be used, yeah? Indeed, Dragon, you may come in handy here. After all, Pig only has one option in how far they can move at this point. They'll run one space. Mouse, you idiot. Guess who's got 2 trinkets? If you dragon craft that lane, we can prevent her from winning. Are we sure that will work? What if she has items? She doesn't. I've been with her this whole time. She hasn't gotten any items. Well, I did hand over the minor trinkets to her. You what? How was I supposed to know? Rabbit Mouse. How many minor trinkets does she have? 2? At least, that we're aware of. Oh, okay. So if we subtract her and the monkey, we still have enough. We have enough for us, but she also has enough to trick us. Sure, that's nice to know, but the important thing is that all she has are minor trinkets. She can't use more than one herself, so she's still limited to moving one space. Has anyone checked on Monkey? Anyone? Please, just do it. Dragon, you use your ability to block off the space in front of her. Sure. As for the rest of us, we need to split up and search for Pig physically. Right. There's one way to stop her that doesn't involve any games. We prevent her from inputting any moves by force. I know this is something none of you will like to hear, but at this point it's us or her. I think in this situation we're authorized to use lethal force. Now hold on, we're still not 100% sure that Pig is in fact the traitor. Mouse? Does that change anything? I don't think it does. In fact, I think if she's not the traitor, it's worse. I agree that it means we might have to look at our plans a bit different, but in what we do regarding Pig, I don't think that changes anything. It could be a misclick or something. If that was the case, why'd she be hiding out? For a moment a thought passed through my mind. Is she really hiding right now, or something else? Potentially. I mean, I think with all we've seen so far, it's far more likely that she's the traitor than she's hiding. But potentially, she could have been kidnapped and forced to input her action, her ability. Could be the case. It's not an option that I want to completely discount. We're not entirely sure at the moment, so if you get the chance, try and ask about her motives. But the number one priority is stopping her by any means necessary. This is a large school, but it's still just a school. If we all split up and search carefully, we'll find her soon. This isn't some trinket we're looking for, it's a human being, a lot harder to hide. So we search for her and reconvene at the end of the round. And like that, everyone understood the mission. Not everyone liked it, but everyone understood it. Oh, she's still alive. Might I be untied at this point? It's clear I bear the group no ill will, and I believe I could be an aid in searching for Pig. Fine, but you're searching with me. It would be my pleasure. I also decided to search with Ox. I wasn't particularly scared for my life, but still, Ox and Monkey were probably the 2 people I trusted the most at this point. Although Pig was on that list a few minutes ago, so perhaps I wasn't the best judge of this sort of thing. You're absolutely not. The 3 of us began to search the left wing of the first floor. Not having to spend nearly as much time searching, we covered far more ground. Towards the end of the round, we had briefly gone over the majority of the first floor. And yet Pig was nowhere to be found. How are we not finding her? There's one thing I'd like to mention here. I do not think there is any requirement for them to stay inside the school. They're free to just go out if they can. And I think they can. Which means Pig might just be out there somewhere. Because the point is, once you know exactly how the game is going to go, once you know what moves you need to put in without needing to see the results, there's no reason to be present. She doesn't need to be here. She can be anywhere else inputting her moves. It's not like she can hide in some super secret spot or something. Like Bunny said, we're looking for a human, not a trinket. It means that they can move from spot to spot. They can listen to where people are moving. It's basically a large game of hide and seek. Seems like Pig's pretty good at hide and seek then. For all we know, some other group has found Pig already. Were that the case, wouldn't we have heard something already? I suppose. God, I feel like such an idiot. How could I not have known Pig was the other traitor? Yeah, how could you not have known Mouse? I was searching with her. Mouse, there's no blame to be assigned here. You don't know her as a person, so you're not adjusted to her personality yet. In your case, it would be difficult to even tell what being off looks like. Additionally, in such a perilous situation, there are several reasons one could be off. You'd need to also detect the guilt in her offness to truly determine the answer. People greatly overestimate their ability to read strangers. Unless you're a trained professional, most people can only make informed assessments on people that they know, at least somewhat. Why, my specialty is reading people, and I would not have been able to tell. Anyone would have been able to tell. Well, that's nice to hear. You always know what to say to cheer me up, Monkey. Like I said, I know you. Regardless of whose fault it is, we just need to look towards the future. Looking back is a waste of time. I note you conspicuously didn't take a side on whether or not it was my fault, Ox. And on the note of looking forwards, we should input our moves and go back to the cafeteria. Agreed. With a nod of her head, Monkey entered the nearby classroom. Hey, Mouse. Hitch a ride on me. Huh? I'm going to Stampede to get behind Pig. Why? At this point, everyone's probably going to be looking to get as far as possible. If we capture Pig, we can reconfigure afterwards. But being close to the end gives us leverage. Okay then. I wasn't sure about this, but I went along with what Ox said. He seemed to know what he was talking about. I entered a nearby classroom and hitched a ride on Ox. Then the three of us went back to the cafeteria. There, people were lamenting their lack of progress. Shifty little bitch, how did nobody find her? Is everyone searching properly? Dragon, no need to get so upset. What are you saying to me? He's saying that there's no need to get upset. We will find her soon enough. She will run out of places to hide. She better. And like that, the television cut on once more. Time to see the race's results. Round 7 has ended. Now let us see how the race has progressed. The rat has hitched a sneaky ride on Ox. Okay, so this one does work simultaneously in the same round. The ox has begun to stampede and move to the 15th space. Thanks to the sneaky ride, the rat also moves 9 spaces. The tiger has used dive. The tiger moves 2 spaces. The bunny has begun to hop and moved 1 space. The dragon has used dragon breath. Lane 17 is engulfed in flames. The snake has run 1 space. The horse has used steady gallop. The horse moves 3 spaces. The sheep has used sweet sleep. It can make 2 extra moves next turn. The monkey has chosen to confess. The rooster has used encouraging crow to move the dragon 4 spaces. The dog has chosen to confess. The pig has chosen to confess. Now let us hear some confessions. First up, Monkey. What on earth? Everyone's eyes moved towards Monkey. However, she simply stayed silent. Her arms were firmly in her pockets and her gaze wasn't even at the television. After a time, the Jade Emperor spoke up once again. That confession was worth 0 spaces. You suck. Next up, Dog. Again, attention shifted to Dog. But like Monkey, he didn't speak. It appeared those two deliberately chose confessions just to move 0 spaces. But Pig, I suddenly got worried. That confession was worth 0 spaces. You suck. Next up, Pig. I wasn't expecting to hear anything, but very faintly I heard a voice begin to speak. I'm responsible for the online perception that Aaron Morris is guilty. I'm not surprised. The voice came from a place not far from here. Immediately, several among the group, myself included, began moving towards the voice. Initially, I planned to cover the incident from a totally opposite perspective. I planned on pointing out the holes in the case along with other sketchy rumors about Amadeus Bowl. We made our way to a classroom not too far from the cafeteria. There we saw Pig nervously shouting through the window. However, I was approached by a very influential media company with an absurdly generous offer. They were prepared to pay me a big sum of money as well as get me in touch with some of their connections and even subtly promote my work. Instantly, Horse went for the door, trying to force it open. However, for some reason, it wouldn't budge. There was one condition. I had to do everything in my power to help promote the public narrative that Aaron Morris is 100% guilty. I moved closer to the window and saw that somehow Pig had found a bike chain. She had used it in conjunction with a fixture on the wall to completely lock herself in a room. The media company seemingly had no connection with Amadeus Bowen, and yet I knew this offer was shady. Of course it was shady, how could it not be? But I took it anyways. I posted article after article slamming Aaron Morris, talking about how incredibly guilty he was. I used sock puppets and forced accounts to spread this work as far as I could. And if I saw any online articles taking the opposing view, I'd spam them with garbage and flag them as misinformation on social media sites. My methods produced results, and when I showed them to my employers, they were pleased. I knowingly helped perpetrate a potential injustice simply to line my own selfish coffers. I'm selfish, despicable scum who only cares about herself. You're right on the mark with that one. With that final cry, everyone went silent. Was this true? To be honest, it sounded plausible. It sounded bad, which meant that confession was worth 5 spaces. You're horrible. That's all the confessions we have for this round. Now round 10 has begun. Do your best and choose wisely. 5 spaces? Damn it, we were played for fools. Doesn't matter, we're ending this now. Horse readied himself, preparing to slam down the door. He would rush headfirst into the room and deal with Pig himself. In this situation, what to do? Make a safe state. And go on. Off you go, Horse. You can do it, Horse. Get in there and teach Pig a lesson. Horse nodded towards me. And just like that, Horse slammed into the door. The chain lock held, but with just a single shove it was clear Horse would be able to break in soon enough. I sort of expected him to keep slamming into it like he had just did, but after the first strike he changed course. He began kicking at the door's hinges with the might of a sledgehammer. Before long the castle's gate was open. Without a second thought, Horse stormed in. He didn't wait long to question why the room was suddenly filled with some sort of fog. Fog that was continuing to fill up the room, actually. Was there a fog machine in there? No, it wasn't quite fog, it wasn't quite that dense. She did mention she was a chemist. Poisonous? Maybe. Luckily for me, I was observing this with a bit of distance. For a Horse who had run straight into the thick of things, he felt the effects of the substance almost immediately. His entire form began to sag. He tried to walk around the center desk, but stumbled. He tried to turn around, but tripped on himself. Once he was on the floor, he struggled to pick himself back up. With Horse out of the way, I could finally see the source of the gas. It was coming out in a high density from a beaker sitting on a table in the middle of the room. Did Pig set this up? There were a lot of chemicals in the lab back on the 3rd floor, but still. I knew she wanted to be a chemist or something, but to create something like this was ridiculous. And yet, I didn't know what other explanation there could be for the site. That was about all I could think about before the flash. In an instant, something incredibly bright flashed from the room and I lost my vision. Was that a fucking flashbang? Did Pig create a flashbang? I rubbed my eyes, trying to recover. By the time I regained my vision, I caught the tail end of Pig, who had apparently pushed her way through the doorway and was now sprinting down the hallway. Immediately I began to run after her. I wasn't the closest to her though. Dragon had already begun her pursuit and Bunny was already pulling ahead of me to my side. At At this rate, it was inevitable that Pig would be captured and brought to justice. But if she fought her escape route this far ahead, shouldn't she be expecting this? As if to answer my own thought, Pig immediately turned around mid-run and threw two things at once. A bucket, which she had apparently been carrying with her by her chest as she ran, which was filled with a tar-black substance, and a vial of something else. Raising a fire, huh? I don't know exactly what it all was, but what I do know is that the bucket spilled all over the floor, and as soon as the vial crashed down onto it, a burst of flames lit up the hallway. Luckily enough, Bunny and I were far enough back to stay out of the range of this sudden inferno. Dragon, on the other hand, had kept her mind on a single track and ran into the liquid right as it lit on fire. As the flames came up, she cried out. I expected Pig to use this distraction to turn back around and continue fleeing, but apparently Pig was full of surprises today. Instead, she ran forwards and slammed into Dragon while grabbing a hold of her tablet. The result? Pig was able to flee the fire with Dragon's tablet in her hands. I even heard her shout something. "I'm sorry," noted Pig. Dragon, on the other hand, stumbled back and fell onto the fiery floor. We had to act immediately. Bunny looked at the situation and after a brief pause tried to scoot around the fire to keep off the Pig. For my part, I risked the flames and tried to pull Dragon out of the fire. Unfortunately, Dragon had gotten some of the black substance on her clothes and it continued to burn. Well, get them off of her then. I pulled off Dragon's jacket and chains in an effort to stop it. At this point, the others had caught up with me. Sheep and Snake both helped the efforts to save Dragon. When all was said and done, she was badly burned but not dead. Not dead yet. However, we have to find Pig fast. We don't even have the luxury to discuss a strategy. Everybody immediately split up and looked for her. Unfortunately for us, Dragon's tablet was our only way of trying to stop Pig, so we need to capture her. Hey now, that's not right. Since Dragon used her dragon breath last turn, shouldn't Monkey have access to it? You're right. Oh, look at that. I can stumble into being useful every now and then. Okay, Monkey, you dragon breath the lane right before the finish line. The rest of us need to split up and search for Pig, pronto. And like that, we broke off. We were in a panicked state, hurriedly searching all over the school, trying to find her. I found a row of classrooms and decided to check them out one by one. Mistake. As soon as I grabbed the hold of the handle, it was over. I honestly can't describe what happened next. Just that in a mere few seconds, I would be lying on the floor, dead. But that was a blessing in disguise, because had I searched elsewhere, I would eventually meet a much bloodier fate. I got to pass on peacefully. Lucky me. King of Hearts. Don't underestimate prep time. Say what you will, Pig actually has an incredibly creative mind and a lot of knowledge. With tempo on her side, she is able to devise a plethora of tricks. Following in her pace is a recipe for failure. Alright, and there we go with that. And well, I think we'll continue in the next episode. I actually might continue recording now, but I just have to quickly do something to get back to it. So, thanks for watching until here, and I'll see you guys again next time.